Hello again, time for a video. So, first things first, disclaimer, teaching fair use, because we're going to be using some copyrighted materials just to introduce my students' writing. So, we're doing this Cambridge is 17 academic writing task 1. This is from test number 1. So, a map. A couple of people were asking about how to do maps. They didn't really know. So there's different question types. Usually it's a map in the past and present, but this one here is interesting because it's map in the present of Norbiton and what's the planned future development of the area. So, as we can see, obvious features here is that currently it's an industrial area. There's factories. What you got? 8 factories. You've got some farmland. Not a lot of road, no housing, etc. In the planned development, we can see all the factories are gone. There's going to be extensive housing on both sides of the river. There's going to be some new roads, new roundabout, a bridge across the river, and lots of amenities. Shops, medical centre, school, and a playground. So it's essentially being converted from industrial to urban usage. Okay, pretty straightforward as that. So let me just close it off. That's the channel, IELTS 9 Pro. So if you haven't seen it or joined it, you can join it later. The link will be below, so I'll close that off now. So I wrote one first, just so you can see. It's pretty easy. This one, all that you've got to do, this is about 200 words-ish. So all that you do your introduction first. The map shows how Norbiton looks now, plans for future development. Then you must have an overview. This can be part of it. Introduction doesn't matter, but we must have a clear overview. So overall, it can be seen Norbiton will have a significant shift away from being industrial to residential. All the factories being removed, major construction of housing, amenities being added, roads will be extended, and a new bridge will be built. So that's all the obvious features. Now, the criteria is pretty clear. You must have an overview to get good marks in this section. Matter of fact, I'll quickly show you the relative part. So let me get my pen. Right. So if you don't have an overview, right, then what do you get for task achievement? Well, that's what you get for task achievement if you don't have an overview. If you simply mechanically recount all the detail and you don't give us an overview, that's what you get, 5. So you must have an overview. You must have one. You must have one. Main trends or differences must clearly be identified. Right? Key features clearly presented, highlighted. Okay? So that's why an overview is important. Get that out of the way. So you must have it. So then, so you can use this 4-paragraph structure for all of the academic writing tasks, right? So you do your introduction first, whether it's map, process, data, graph, chart, or whatever. Introduction first, the map shows, the graph shows, illustrates, etc. Overall, it can be seen that that's changed, that's not changed, that's gone up, that's gone down. It's pretty much the same thing. Then, the detail. So we're going to be using a lot of passive in this map because we don't know who's developed, who's constructed, who has built, etc. So currently there's a roundabout in the centre surrounded by factories and with a road moving west to east. After development, so we're using some future simple here. Will remain, will be replaced, so we're using future perfect. Future simple, new hospital will be built, will have houses, large playground. You can use other verbs depending on these maps. You can use maybe proposed, predicted, forecast, anticipated, but a future simple works and a future perfect in passive. Well, so you've got all that there. Eastward Road with houses either side. Maybe I should put a comma. Sorry, a hyphen between northwest. Outside the town centre, a small roundabout in the south is planned, bisect the road. In the north, there'll be a bridge. However, the east will be unchanged. So you're basically showing all the details. So what's the key features? Major thing is industrial, that's all gone. Urban, housing, amenities, education, shops, blah, blah, blah. Roads, and that's basically it. So it's pretty straightforward stuff. Okay, so I'll just, well, you can see that there. It fits on the single page. So I'll just leave that there. You can have a peep. You can pause this and watch it later. Okay, now let's have a look at yours. Okay. So this one's 211 words. Okay. The maps illustrate the current layout of industrial town. Norwich plans for future development. That's good. We just put some changes on. Okay. What stands out? You could do that, or you could say, I usually put overall or from an overall view to make it clear. It's an overview, as in this is an overview, overall, from an overall view. Stands out, residential. That's good, right? Excellent. That's it. Industry to residence with houses and some shops and some other stuff, and mainly to the east and to the north of the town. Okay. In the current plan, there's a central roundabout surrounded by factories, road running from west to east, a river. In the future, roundabout will remain, into shops, put an article in the southwest, and new housing in other sides, on the other side, or on both sides. A bridge about to build a line pit. Well, yeah, that's kind of what bridges, they tend to have this tendency. They allow people to cross to the other side. I probably wouldn't put that there. That's a bit obvious, you know. You could say connecting the farmland to the north. So there's one housing unit to the north. So you could say a bridge will be built connecting the last housing and the farmland, but allowing people to cross. Well, yeah, that's kind of what bridges do. Some new features are going to be added, north, south, east of the river respectively. Well, there's not so much in the north, is there? Also about small band of south, which improves the track. Again, I wouldn't put this kind of stuff that, I suppose it might, but it doesn't necessarily say that that's what it will do, you know. Town southeast of the main round, and to the southeast, and to, because it can't be in, to the southeast of. Now, watch these prepositions and articles of the main roundabout. So we're situated in turn. Right, so I wouldn't be adding stuff that's not necessarily there. You know, it's like you're reading things in which may or may not be true. And all that you've got to say is actually, you know, this is what I can see. And this is the same for some of the data ones also, and the graphs and the charts. Sometimes people draw conclusions or make some correlation between this, therefore means that this. And I would try to avoid that kind of thing, if possible. And, you know, okie doke. So, apart from that, that's good. Watch your prepositions and articles though. So, sorry. If it's a point of the compass to the north, the south, the east, the southwest, in the north and southeast, etc. Two given maps, well, we need an article, the two, for that considering infrastructural developments in the future. Considering what? Down is farmland and river. There is a farmland. Well, there's simply farmland and a river. The river is countable. And don't forget, I can't be arsed, but north, you can put like a capital, in the north, these west. The town on the west, social factors occur around the centre or central. Now, if it's an adjective, a central square, a roundabout, that people can easily. Now, right, commute, that means when you're travelling to work. But you don't know that because we don't know where these people come from, as there's no housing there. Presumably the workers must commute from somewhere, but commute in the streets. You commute to and from your place of work. You don't commute in the street. So central square that people or roundabout that people can easily commute so easily from. Well, that's that could do with changing. The square is linked to the road in the southeast part. So it's a roundabout, isn't it? It's not a square. The second map illustrates planting jobs. If it's area of a central square or roundabout will be linked to the farmland through a street and a bridge that crosses over the river in the north or to the north. Has replaced by houses going from what is a square? To the east is a street which will be houses and a playground around it. What? So which will have houses and a playground around it and a school at the end. So you need to watch your prepositions and articles. A medical centre, that's countable, and we use the English one, RE. And shops will be located in the south, east, and west east. Southeast and how can you have so you can't have west east. You can have southeast, a northeast, southwest, and northwest, but you can't have west east. The significant change will be pointed out, and it will be different. And it will be different to a living. It's not going to differ though, is it? It's going to be completely changed from industrial to residential. So that doesn't work. I can't be bothered to type out and change every single thing here. And also, there's no summary, there's no conclusion. You need an overview, right? You need an overview. You need something. I would put it paragraph 2 because it's supposed to be an overview, not an after view, not a conclusion, a summary. Okay, 166 words. You could put some more words there. Oh. Hang on. I'll pull this back up here. Okay, so the maps should just areas are quoted at the east. Well, at the east, or is it in the east, or to the east? So it's either to the east of, or in the east. So if it's actually in the east, or it's to the east of something. Okay. So what does in the future overall? Significant changes, replacement of entire factories, and construction. So right, that overview I would put a little bit more in, especially for a map. And there's quite a few things that you could add in this one here, like as I said, or this one here said, a roundabout. It's going to be main. There's going to be a bridge. There's going to be this. There's going to be that, etc. Yeah. What stands out? Industrial facilities is going to be this. Okay, so I would always put a little bit more in your overview. That's a little bit sparse. You can get some extra points if you put more in. I mean, I'll show you again. No relevant information could be appropriately added to the response. More detail, that's what happens for task A achievement. It's not a trick, that's what the criteria says. Okie doke, back to the plot. So put some more in there. Okay. First map shows central roundabouts, a central roundabout is surrounded by some factories. The roundabout articles. So we're talking about by a southern road, or by a road to the south. Also farmland is situated at the top of the map on the north side of the river. Okay, that's a little bit sparse, there's not so much there. Okay, second map, rural factories convert the industrial area into a residential one. Subsidies are planned to be built, shopping centres have been around, school and playground. Right, articles, a school and playground. Shops and a medical centre, a school and playground will be constructed. North and west, the eastern road. Roundabouts in the map will be doubled. You mean there will be a second one, so it's not going to be doubled, we won't say that. 2 new roads connect north and left hand corner of the map. Articles, don't forget, to the centre, use the English one, American one. Say when it's built on the main road. In addition, there's a plan to relocate farmland at the top right. Relocate farm? Well, they're not relocating, it's just they haven't changed that particular farm land. There's still some farmland, so we're not relocating it. And how can you relocate farm land? You can't really, you can either develop it or not, but can you relocate farm land? It's not buildings that you can relocate. So, okay, not too bad, but watch those articles. And the maps given depict industrial environment at the present, or in the present, or currently, how it's going to be changed in the future. Major accessible. Okay, now that's good, but again, you could put a bit more in there, like in my previous and in that other example. Put a little bit more in there. It's only 167 words, you know. Looking at the south of the town, the factory is going to be demolished, not to give way to. Now it's usually give way to as a collocation. Into construction, it has no facilities. In the west, shops were built. In the east, we are going to be placed. In the east, be a school. Again, that's a little bit sparse if you consider the detail in mine and the previous one. To facilitate accessibility to the town, producing sense people space that meant that has. Okay, so that's not too bad, but it's a little bit bare. It's a little bit bare bones, right? You can certainly put a bit more detail there. Again, like that criteria said, nothing could be added, and this one there could be some additions. And I think with just one more, and then that'll be it. So first match in the sounds of proposed change to the area. Use of floor space. We usually use that to mean inside, like a factory floor space inside. So we wouldn't use that for outside, for like a map, you know. Put a new building. Will be new buildings or what? New construction, road. So what is it? That's what we wrote. Right, roads and facilities in the. So right, again, that overview, it's pretty sparse. Right, that's not clearly identifying, and we use a floor space. That doesn't even make any sense. So that overview doesn't really work there. At present, the river. Draw, well, rivers usually run. That's the verb that we use. Is it? River runs from east to west or west to east of the area near the farmland. But the plan will be built. But the plan is to build. Not will be built, but the plan will be built. So how can you have a plan that will be built? A plan is to show you what will be built. You're not building a plan. So, but the plan is to build a road across the river, and will be attached. What you mean? Which will be attached to the centre square in the industrial area and farmland, which people can go from one site to another easily. What you mean? Is that bridge that's in the north? What? Which one goes out to the easily? Also another road because to commute of people in the that doesn't even work. So commute of people in the area will become comfortable. That doesn't make sense. Sorry, that's very bad. Construction. The most is structural way constructed. Well, it's not the more. It's simply more. More facilities, shops, and medical centre, and a school. Constructed the nearest road and main square. Many houses will be built close to facilities and factories at the present plan or in the present plan. In addition to what? Once was going to west. Right. So yeah, it's not bad. As again, I can't be bothered to retype all this because I would have to do so. So there's a few things here that don't quite work. Maybe sentence, construction, word order, etc. So that needs a bit of attention. So these aren't too bad, but some of them are a little bit sparse. It's bare bones kind of stuff, especially in the overview. As we've just seen in the criteria, you can get some good or a good score for task achievement the more detail that you include. 200-ish words is perfectly fine. And it's not that hard because you only have maybe 20 minutes, but you're not writing an essay. You're not thinking of ideas and reasons. It's simply descriptive. It's like, I can see this, I can see that. So in that sense, it shouldn't be too difficult to write a couple of 100 words for a map. Anyway, that's the general idea. I hope it helps. I'll leave mine there. You can take a look at that. And I'll process this now, post it in the group, and it'll be on YouTube if that's where you're watching it now, either in the group or on YouTube. And I'm going to post a task number 2 from Cambridge 17 once I've got this video done, and you can take a look at that, and I'll see you for the next video. Okay, hope that helps about how maps work. So don't forget, and I do have map lessons, I think, on my channel. If you take a look, there's something there. But all we need is your 4 paragraphs: intro, overview, data, figures, data, and is basically it. This one's pretty easy. You just have your map, introduction, the map show blah blah blah, overview, major changes, that's going to be added, that's going to be taken away. Paragraph number 3 before, paragraph number 4 afterwards, or a mixture of there's this, then there's that, then there's this, and then there's that. It's pretty straightforward. I think that the map and process are the easiest. Certainly out of the data ones, I would much rather have a map because it's quite easy. You can see there's that, there's this, there's that, there's this. You're not interpreting any data. So, hope that helps. I'll see you next time.